Welcome to Survey and Beyond, the data collection podcast by Survey CTO. We share expert insights and practical tips on data collection and analysis, discuss innovative methods and tools to enhance data quality and security, and demystify complex data concepts to help people collecting data all around the world. I'm your host, Marta Costa. Welcome to this Christmas Encore compilation episode of Survey and Beyond, the data collection podcast. As the year winds down, we are taking a moment to reflect on the inspiring conversations, transformative ideas, and practical insights shared throughout our episodes. This special holiday edition brings you the voices of thought leaders like Paul Nzerebende, Yahya Hussein, Maulik Chauhan, and many others as they delve into the impact of data on communities, the evolution of digital tools, and the future of data collection. Grab a cup of hot chocolate, settle in, and join us in celebrating the power of data to create change and elevate lives. Let's unwrap the best of Survey and Beyond together.
Data elevates communities because it brings out the best of them. You're able to demonstrate how an individual transforms from one level to another, using data to demonstrate impact, demonstrate change, and eventually using it to tell donors that, hey, look, there's where you can invest money and see real change.
The systems will continue to evolve to become more adaptive, inclusive, and resilient, ensuring that the voice of affected communities derive recovery and long-time development offers.
Years back, I think 2004, when I was in my mechanical engineering, I watched this Bollywood movie. It's called Swades. Swades means coming back to home. So basically, it's a story about a NASA engineer who returns to his hometown village in India. And he's basically very much deeply moved by the challenges he sees around that village faced by the communities. So what he does is he actually stays back in that village instead of going back to NASA. And he actually works for the communities. He uses technology to solve the problems of the village. So when I saw that movie, I was very much inspired by that movie. And I would say that was a light bulb moment for me that actually clicked me, and I thought that let me do something for the community, let me do something for the society, right? And it at the same time, it also made me realize the power of technology for the society, right?
When I reached in the NGO sector, in my first organization, Raising the Village, the challenge of data was evident. We were using paper to collect data. I remember my first tool was a paper-based tool. And we would tick what we want. And then later we get computers, we enter into Excel. And it was tedious, it was hectic. But 1 year later, we discovered Survey CTO. We piloted Survey CTO. I didn't look back. Along the way, I've understood, I've grown passion for data. I've realized that data is a game changer.
Eventually, we kind of figured out that we're not using the best practices that are being used around the world. Digital data collection was sort of the answer to all of the problems we were facing at that point in time. It was sort of a revolution, to be honest. We were able to impress a lot of people who were doing paper-based surveys back then, because we were not only able to monitor data collection process better, it was also the fact that we were able to bring down costs a lot.
Many of the organizations were more focused on the programs on what to collect, what type of data to collect, right? Most of their programs were based on what to collect, but many organizations were not knowing how to collect. So I think there is a difference. People are more focused on what to collect, but least focused on how to collect. And because of that, they are not able to collect high quality data from the field.
It may not be perfect data, but it doesn't mean it's not usable data. If it is precise data, you know precisely how imperfect it is, and you know how to shift it so that way you can actually start using it in a way. The business doesn't care if it's not completely perfect. What they care about is, can you take it and turn it into a story? If you could turn it into a story and you can leverage it to help them drive insight.
The main role of the MEL specialists is to make sure that the data collecting says something. It tells a story, exactly as you said. So whenever we do collect data from qualitative data or quantitative data, we do merge them together in one report, and we do provide linkages between the data. So I think it's very important to highlight patterns in the data being collected.
With Raising the Village, when we were collecting data on WASH, water, sanitation, and hygiene, you go to a community, you measure their compliance and adoption to best practices on WASH, and they score 10% or 5%. Then you roll out interventions that are aimed at helping them improve their WASH programs. You begin collecting data every 6 months. At year 3, communities which were scoring 5%, you begin seeing them scoring 80, 90. But it's not just data communicating. You begin seeing improvement in WASH. You reach a home, it's clean. They have water at the toilet. They have clean compounds. And you're like, wow, data is guiding us to do amazing things in communities, saving lives and improving them.
We had sort of the first movers advantage in Pakistan. I don't think at that point in time a lot of people or a lot of firms were trying to collect data digitally. So we had a lot of room to play around and figure out what the best practices are and which platform to use and stuff like that. So we messed around with ODK, explored what best front end and back ends are being provided by different platforms. But it was sort of a revolution, to be honest. And we were able to impress a lot of people who were doing paper-based surveys back then.
Many of the organizations were more focused on the programs on what to collect, what type of data to collect, right? Most of their programs were based on what to collect, but many organizations were not knowing how to collect. So I think there is a difference. Like, people are more focused on what to collect, but least focused on how to collect. And because of that, they are not able to collect high quality data from the field.
So we're very keen on, for example, developing online evaluation surveys on each and every activity that we conduct. So by the end of each activity, we do send the beneficiaries, whether we're speaking of undergraduate students or we're speaking of mid-career professionals, whether from the government or from the non-GUE sector, we do send them online evaluation surveys in order to ask for their opinions. Ask them if things are going well. What do you think of the content that was delivered to you? What do you think of the instructors, of the teaching methodology? What challenges have you encountered? What are your recommendations? We do take the recommendations and opinions of our beneficiaries very, very seriously.
So when it comes to the testing phase, is an opportunity for us to be able to check and validate that everything is working. So we would focus on one of the tickets and we'll go in and we will test that one specific scenario and we'll go from start to finish. So if we were looking at a conversion funnel and we made a change that was going to be, when you click on this button, that this product was going to be added and we would have this element of information being passed in, we would go through and we would test each of the buttons that causes that ad and see, do we get the value coming back?
A lot of these technological advances have sort of helped us to reach out to these far-fetched places and get data with the same quality as a researcher would like to have. I think we wouldn't have been in this industry if there was still paper-based survey. We were in it because we have some sort of grip on the work we're doing, and that's only because of digital data collection. But it has also helped us to go in far-fetched areas, in remote areas, because it's a mixture of technologies that we're using. One, it's digital data collection. Second, we can sort of monitor trainings on Zoom and Riverside and Skype and whatever. And we don't have to send a lot of resources to these areas.
For me, single customer review is around being able to get a clearer picture about who are your clients, your customers, or your potential prospects that could become customers. This would entail being able to try to bring in as much of the data set as possible. So does the company know about them? But also, what do you know about them in the digital world? Because it doesn't always match what you have in the offline with what people are doing online. So it's taking all the signals and being able to understand what does the customer want, sometimes even before they even know that they want it.
Empowering communities in Oxfam is one of the priorities, especially when it comes to implementing programs and the projects in a specific or different context. This is very fundamental to Oxfam's mission because Oxfam ensures that the people we aim to serve are at the heart of everything we do. So Oxfam mission about fighting inequality and injustice, and the true empowerment comes when communities have a voice and a say in the decision making that impact their lives.
You cannot depend solely on one tool and say that this tool tells me all I want to know. So, for example, we do use different tools. Sometimes we use online evaluation surveys. Of course, they are the quickest tool to capture what's happening on the ground, what's happening in the field, the satisfaction rate, challenges being encountered, and so on.
Tools like feedback management system and community perception tracker, I believe, will play a pivotal role in this evolution. They will enhance real-time feedback collection and enable faster response to those feedback and more responsive to the decision making by the teams in the ground.
That was all for today. We hope you have been inspired by the incredible stories and insights from our guests. A heartfelt thank you to all our listeners for your continued support. Let's carry these lessons and inspirations into the new year, driving innovation and fostering community-led solutions. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on LinkedIn for more updates and behind-the-scenes content. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and happy holidays from all of us at Survey and Beyond. Survey and Beyond, the data collection podcast, is brought to you by Survey CTO. To find out more about Survey CTO and how it ensures reliable, secure, and scalable data collection, visit www.surveycto.com. And make sure to search for Survey and Beyond, the data collection podcast in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Survey CTO, thanks for listening.